If you've ever been poor, truly poor, you know what it feels like when Christmas arrives, when other families buy new clothes, share gifts, decorate their homes, and you look around, wondering if you'll even find food tomorrow. If you know that pain, then you will understand what made this song. Because Silent Night, the most peaceful Christmas hymn in the world, was born in fear, hunger, and failure. It was 1816 in a small Austrian village called Oberndorf. People here were not celebrating Christmas with joy. They were surviving it. Floods had destroyed crops. Families struggled to eat. War had just ended in Europe, leaving hunger and broken homes everywhere. It was a time when hope was expensive and food was rare. The children in this village had never known a Christmas with plenty. They had never seen tables full of food or homes decorated with candles and ribbons. For them, Christmas was just another cold night, another day of wondering where the next meal would come from. This was the world that would birth one of history's most beautiful songs. In that village lived a 24-year-old assistant priest, Joseph Moore. But Joseph did not come from a respected family. He was born illegitimate, a child without a legal father, which in those days was considered shameful. His mother was a poor seamstress. His father, an absent soldier who never acknowledged him. He grew up poor, rejected, unwanted. He knew what it meant to feel small, to stand outside other people's happiness. He understood hunger, not just for food, but for belonging, for dignity, for a place in the world. Maybe that is why he loved caring for the poor. He visited sick families, hungry children, soldiers who returned with no future. He sat with widows who had lost everything. He held the hands of dying men who had no one else. He believed that if God loved anyone, he loved the broken first. And Joseph Moore, he knew what it meant to be broken. During Christmas of 1816, 2 years before our story reaches its peak, Joseph Moore felt something unusual in his heart. Not excitement, but a quiet peace. He had just helped a poor woodcutter's wife give birth to a baby boy in a freezing cabin in the mountains. The family had nothing. No warm blankets, no proper food, no doctor. Just Joseph, his prayers, and a miracle that the child survived. As he walked back down the snowy mountain that night, he looked at the stars, and he thought about another birth, another mother, another child born in poverty. He sat down with a piece of paper and wrote a poem, just words, not a song yet. Stille Nacht, Heilig Nacht, Silent Night, Holy Night. He kept the poem hidden for 2 years. He had no plan for it, not yet. He didn't know it was going to change the world. Now, it is Christmas Eve, 1818. The town prepares for worship, but something terrible happens. The church organ breaks. Some say mice had chewed through the bellows. Others say the damp winter air had rusted the pipes. Whatever the reason, the main instrument for Christmas is silent. There will be no music for the celebration. People are disappointed. Poor families hoped for at least one joyful moment this Christmas. And now, even the music is gone. For people who had so little, even a beautiful song felt like a luxury they could not afford. Moore feels guilty. He is responsible for the service. He looks at the broken organ, the poor families, the cold children sitting in worn-out clothes, and he decides, tonight, there must still be music. Then he remembers the poem, the one he wrote 2 years ago, the one hidden in his drawer. Moore rushes through the snowy streets to his friend, the humble school teacher Franz Gruber. Franz was not a famous composer. He was a simple man who taught children their letters by day and played music by night. Moore shows him the poem he wrote 2 years ago, his hands shaking from cold, or maybe from hope, and he says, "Can you make music for this? Something gentle, something simple. We have no organ tonight, only your guitar." Gruber reads the words slowly. He understands what Joseph is trying to say. He doesn't write something grand. He writes a melody a guitar can play. Simple notes, gentle rhythm, like a lullaby for a suffering world. Because guitar music was not allowed for Christmas Mass. It was considered too ordinary, too simple, too much like the music poor people played in taverns and streets. But that night, simplicity became a miracle. In just a few hours, Franz Gruber composed one of the most recognized melodies in human history. He didn't know that. He was just trying to help his friend save Christmas Eve. On December 24th, 1818, at midnight, two men stood at the front of a damaged church in a starving village and began to sing. No orchestra, no professional choir, no grand organ filling the space with powerful sound, just a guitar and two voices and a quiet hope. And then, for the first time in history, the world heard Silent Night. In the original German, they sang Stille Nacht, Heilige Nacht. The melody was gentle, almost like a mother humming to a restless child. The guitar strings created a sound that felt intimate, personal, as if God Himself was whispering directly into each person's heart. The congregation had never heard anything like it. Most church music was loud, powerful, meant to fill cathedrals with sound. But this was different. This song didn't demand your attention. It invited you in. It felt like peace, arriving quietly, like hope sneaking in through the back door. Nobody imagined that a broken church, a poor priest, and a simple guitar were making history. But the people cried, not because it was sad, but because the song felt like it was written for them, for the tired mothers, for the hungry children, for the fathers who had lost everything in the war, for anyone who had ever felt forgotten by the world. That night, Silent Night, did something no other Christmas song had done before. It made poverty feel holy. It made simplicity feel sacred. It reminded everyone that the first Christmas was not celebrated in a palace, but in a stable, with animals, with poor parents, with shepherds who owned nothing. Years later, travelers carried the song from village to village. Nobody even knew who wrote it. An organ repairman named Karl Maracher heard Silent Night in Obendorf while fixing that same broken organ years later. He was so moved by the song that he took the melody back to his own village in the Tyrolean Alps. He taught it to local singing groups, and they carried it further. Some people thought it was a folk song, something that had always existed. Others said it was so perfect it must have come from heaven. For decades, no one knew that two humble men in a forgotten village had created it. Silent Night reached Germany, Italy, France. It crossed oceans. It was translated into dozens of languages, and everywhere it went, it carried the same message: peace is possible, even in the darkest times. And here's the beautiful irony. The song that was born because an organ broke became the most played song on organs around the world. The song written for a guitar because it was too simple for church became the song that defines Christmas. Moore and Gruber died poor. They never received fame. They never made money from the song. Joseph died at age 55, still serving the poor in small villages, still believing that God's greatest miracles happen in the smallest places. They never imagined that billions would one day sing Silent Night in over 300 languages. They just wanted poor people to have hope for one night. But here's what they did give the world. They gave us proof that the most powerful things are often the simplest, that the greatest moments in history can happen when you have nothing but faith and a broken organ. Today, over 200 years later, Silent Night is sung by more than 2 billion people every Christmas. It has been translated into 300 languages, more than almost any other song in human history. Think about that for a moment. A song written in a few hours by a poor priest and a humble school teacher in a forgotten village is now sung in Swahili, in Mandarin, in Arabic, in Hindi, in every corner of the earth. And it has been sung in war zones by soldiers who desperately needed peace. It has been sung in hospitals by patients facing their final Christmas. It has been sung in refugee camps by families who lost everything but still remembered the words. It has been sung in prisons by people who felt forgotten by the world. Silent Night became the voice of the voiceless, the hope of the hopeless, the peace of the broken. In 1818, when Joseph Moore and Franz Gruber first sang it, only about 100 people heard it. By 1900, millions knew it. Today, billions sing it every year. It is performed more than any other Christmas carol in history. Famous singers have recorded it. Kings and presidents have requested it. It has been played in grand cathedrals and tiny village churches. It has been sung on battlefields and in palaces. But somehow, it never lost its original purpose, to bring peace to ordinary people. In 1998, the chapel in Oberndorf, where Silent Night was first performed, built a museum dedicated to the song. Thousands of visitors come every year to stand in the place where history was made, to see the guitar that was used, to remember that the greatest things often come from the smallest places. In 2011, UNESCO added Silent Night to its list of intangible cultural heritage, not because it was created by famous composers, not because it came from a grand cathedral, but because it represents something deeper, the universal human need for peace, for hope, for a moment of calm in the chaos. The song that was almost never heard because of a broken organ became the most heard song on Christmas Eve around the world. When you hear Silent Night this Christmas, remember this. It was not made in luxury. It did not come from wealth. It was born from a broken organ, a forgotten priest, a hungry village, and a God who whispers peace to the poor. Silent Night teaches us that God doesn't wait for us to have everything together. He meets us in our brokenness, in our hunger, in our failure. The song that saved Christmas in a starving village in 1818 is still saving Christmas today. For anyone who feels forgotten, for anyone who feels small, for anyone who wonders if hope is still possible. Sometimes the world thinks beauty comes from perfection, but the greatest gifts often come from people who have nothing except faith. The most powerful songs come from broken places, and maybe that is why the world still sings it today, because we all need to be reminded that in our darkest nights, when everything is broken, when hope seems impossible, peace can still be born. Silent Night, Holy Night. A song born in poverty, now sung by billions. A melody created in a few hours, now remembered for centuries. A gift from two forgotten men that reminds the whole world the greatest miracles often come in the quietest moments. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like something in your life was broken? Like your plans failed? Like you weren't good enough? Yeah. Joseph Moore felt that way. But look what happened. His brokenness became the world's peace. His poverty became billions of people's hope. His forgotten village became the birthplace of history's most sung song. So, before you go, I want you to do three things. First, leave a comment and tell me what broken moment in your life turned into something beautiful. Second, if this story gave you hope, hit that subscribe button, because I'm bringing you more untold stories that will inspire you. And third, share this video with someone who feels broken right now. They need to hear this. Thank you for being here, and may you find peace in your own silent night. This is D Uncovers. Thanks for watching, and Merry Christmas.